Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Samer Kamal. I am the head of growth and marketing here at Arch, and I will also be your host for this session, which I am really excited about. Today, we'll talk about all things data analytics, insights, and really how to deliver the most meaningful insights in the fastest, simplest way possible. And to help me really dissect this topic, I have a couple of folks that are really industry experts, people that I really look up to, and they are really, innovating and building their own next gen companies, utilizing all new technologies, generative AI, automation, and others. So, without further ado, I'd love to introduce our guest speakers. Harini, ladies first. Let's please start with you. Tell us a little bit about you.
Thanks, Samir. I'm really excited to be here. A little bit about me. I started my data career with Target, and since then I've been leading and heading data teams at various tech startups in San Francisco. I was a VP and head of data at UCaring, which got acquired by GoFundMe. From there, I moved to Shipt, which got acquired by Target, a little bit of a full circle. And then Loom had reached out, and I led their data team as well. And Loom got acquired by Atlassian. And at all of these companies, I led all things data, everything from the data infrastructure, data engineering, data science, machine learning, data analytics, and business intelligence. And at one point, I realized that I'd help create a successful playbook, and I wanted to help productize that. And realized that it takes companies years and several $1 million to really set up their data analytics. And I really wanted to help make that instant and accessible to all companies. And that's how Zetta was born.
I love it. I always like to think that the best companies are always built and, started by, people like you, industry experts that have seen the problem themselves and thought there is a better way to doing this. So tell us, a little bit more about Zetta.
Yeah, a little bit of Zetta. Zetta is really the easy button for data analytics. There's no data tools, data team, or building required. And how it works is you just connect your data sources, set up your metrics, and Zetta will do the rest. And the real value prop here is that company-wide data analytics can be set up as quickly as just a few days instead of years and at a fraction of a cost. And we have a ton of powerful features, which is a full suite of AI capabilities, everything from dashboards that tell you your key metrics to automated insights that tell you the drivers behind what's changing and the forecasts that tell you so you can plan ahead, a conversational AI analyst where you can ask simple questions. It comes with a fully managed scalable data warehouse. And we also have anomaly detection to ensure you can trust your data. And our latest actually releases, we have automated board deck generation to help craft the growth story for your board and investors. Wow. So it's really, we're trying to help make all things data easy and accessible to all companies.
Very cool. And it sounds like, you are really focusing on building like an all-in-one, end-to-end, simple solution. It feels like from previous conversations, simplicity is top of mind for you.
100% simplicity so that companies can focus on growing their business rather than doing a lot of the grunt work.
Very good. Thank you. Looking forward to diving into this. So before Taylor, please tell us a little bit about, for folks that haven't been in sessions with us, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Summer, and nice to see you, Harini. My name's Taylor. My background is in chemical engineering, but I joined a startup out of grad school and proceeded to not use any of that chemi background. There I led the data team for a healthcare startup, and we were analyzing a ton of data around claims and genetic tests, and really fell in love with data there. Led the team, managed a number of data scientists and engineers, eventually went off to GitLab to run the data team there. And that was a rocket ship of a company, scaled it 6x as they were heading towards their IPO and kind of built the foundations for their entire data platform. We were very early to dbt as a tool, and also built a great tool in Meltano, an open source data movement tool. Just generally love working with all things data. And now with Arch, we get to do that for more and more companies.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's been such an amazing year for us, kind of like building on that Multano open source foundation, everything else that you talked about. Tell us what we've been, doing recently at Arch.
Yeah, so with Arch, we're building this AI data analyst that, similar to what Harini's been talking about with Zetta, makes it easy to understand as much about your business as possible. It's connected to a full scalable data platform that comes bundled with data movement, storage, transformation. And our AI is able to connect to that data platform, autonomously build pipelines, and also have kind of a human in the loop to check and validate that everything is up and running. So the conversational aspect of the AI can do similar things to what Harini mentioned around chart building, answering questions, and really just being the smart analyst that anyone can access.
Awesome. Thanks, Taylor. Cool. So let's dive right in. So let's talk about a little bit, Harini, on the current state of business analytics. You talk to prospects and customers and like-minded people all the time. What would you say from your perspective are the biggest challenges businesses, no matter the size or the industry, really face with, traditional legacy, may I call it, tools out there?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest challenges that businesses face with data analytics is in two areas. One is the time. There's lack of timely, actionable insights, and the cost. It takes just way too long. There are too many tools, too many experts needed. And I think that is really the biggest challenge and why data analytics is so hard to get right.
That makes sense. So, Taylor, what do you think about that? Any thoughts before really jumping into it? I find it interesting.
Yeah, no, I think Harini touched on some really important points, like the tool sprawl is such a big challenge. And we've seen many companies where they've maybe worked with consultants previously, and then we come in and the stack that's been set up is kind of a tangled mess, and you need a highly paid expert to help you untangle it. And there's just, I don't know, this fundamental belief that it doesn't have to be that complicated to answer questions. And I think a lot of business leaders have this intuition about their business that, hey, I understand it. Like I can log into these different tools. I'm talking to customers. We're making money. But I know there's something that I should be doing more. And I don't think the answer should be, well, you need to spend $150K to hire a data analyst and then build all these different tools and have this whole complex system. It should be much easier to understand what's happening in your business, understand those growth levers. And so it is a challenge. There are specialized skills that you need, you being a data expert, but that's where AI can come in and like really help accelerate all of that, paired with kind of some human experts behind the scenes. So just a lot of sprawl and a lot of confusion out there about what you actually really need.
That's a good segue. You really set me up. I think, with using next gen technology as generative AI, may I dare, getting into the topic. Harini, you use generative AI a lot, I know, at Zetta. How do you see really, this trend shaping up and changing, the world of data analytics?
Yeah, definitely. The world of data analytics has been shifting from spreadsheets to BI to AI. And I think we are helping pave that new era of data analytics, where we are now making data accessible and really democratizing data because it's now affordable and instant. And I think that shift is definitely something that is the future and here to stay. And the way I think the AI can really help in the entire data analytics maturity curve is there are a few different types of users generally, people who use data. There are the power users who like to look at dashboards and answer their own questions. AI can help generate a lot of those dashboards in a more automated way. And then there are users who have a specific question and they want that question answered. And that's where the AI data analyst comes into play, where you have a specific question, you will get the answer for that question along with a summary and a chart and the data to download. And then finally, there are the group of people who are like, just tell me everything I need to know. A lot of executives are, I think, in that bucket. And that's where a lot of the automated insights become a key, where everything that leaders need to know is summarized and provided to them. And Gen AI and automation is helping us achieve all of this and helping companies move along the maturity curve on data to help really make better decisions.
Love it. So let's double click on that, Taylor, if you don't mind. Harini talked about kind of like the data experts, the business leaders, the analysts. How do you view really the day-to-day, operations of these folks, with conversational AI taking over business analytics?
Yeah, I love diving and thinking about the different roles that each of these people play in companies. So for business leaders, like these people are very busy. And in an ideal world, I think they would love to have someone who is an expert in their business, understands their data, and sits right next to them so that they can answer any questions. And it can be just as quick as like, hey, do you have that thing? Or can you answer this question about our growth in last quarter or something like that? And with AI, that actually does become possible. These models are incredibly intelligent. And unlike tools like ChatGPT or Claude, like when you have an AI that is actually hooked up to your business's data in a secure way, it can be that conversational interface to answer any question that you have basically at any time. And so it will, I think, like release this energy that executives have where they want to know and understand things, or trying to understand what's happening in their business. Because, at some point the business is too complex. They can't keep it all in their head. And so you have this place where they can ask questions. And I think that's such an exciting thing. And if it's built on a solid foundation of the metrics that define your business and clean data, it can be 100% accurate and very valuable for them. For analysts and data engineers that are working in these organizations, it can be a huge force multiplier for the work that they're doing. It's kind of like having one way to think of it is like it's kind of having a clone of yourself. If you're able to give the AI information about the business, it's working with metrics that you kind of helped set up and help give it the guardrails. It can be an extension of you. And so instead of you having to deal with ad hoc requests that may not take you too long to answer, but is distracting you from maybe more important things, you let the AI kind of handle that, and then you can work on the more interesting, more challenging, and potentially more valuable problems for the business. So I view it just as a very positive thing, and generally, and a very transformative piece of technology for people.
Very cool. So, Harini, I work with Taylor obviously every day. He is an optimist. He's very positive and optimistic about a lot of this. I'd love to have you be the devil's advocate and, tell us a little bit about some of the misconceptions, if you will, about, generative AI that you hear. Maybe, people think it's going to do all these amazing things. What do you feel like you have to correct people all the time?
Yeah, one is that people use ChatGPT and it works really great, and so they think it's that easy to do it with data analytics. And the reason it works so well for ChatGPT is it has the entire internet's data to train on, which is amazing training set. That training set is not available within companies. The metadata, the definitions, the KPIs, the context, the documentation does not exist. So that entire semantic layer, metadata layer just does not exist. And even if it does exist, it is very limited. So I think that's where getting it to work really well is really hard. And I think that's the hard work that we at Arch and Zetta are putting in so that every company doesn't have to reinvent the wheel, right? And I think we are saying, hey, here, take this, and from here you can build what you need. But that's where we're helping provide a solid foundation, and building something is really hard to do. Is doing an internal AI data analyst. It's just hard to get to high levels of accuracy and hard to implement. But I'm pretty proud to say that we've helped achieve high levels of accuracy. So I'm very, very bullish on how Gen AI is going to continue to only improve.
Love it. Love it. So let's really dive maybe a little bit deeper technically here. Taylor, what is this like behind the scenes, if you will, that Harini described that, we at Arch, at Zetta, have to do to ensure like the quality of the data, the delivery of the data is, still being delivered top notch, and precision. Obviously, this is mission critical information that we deal with here. What is it like if you give us a little bit of peek behind the scenes?
Yeah. So this ties into your question too of like, what is the biggest misconception? And Harini touched on it a little bit. Like with state-of-the-art tools right now, Claude or ChatGPT, you can take a CSV of your data and upload it and ask questions about it. And it will generally get the answers correct depending on what you're asking. But that is obviously a very disconnected system. And so you then have to have something that is be able to access data in real time, connected to your business systems. There's a lot of data work that has to go into that. And that's kind of another one of the misconceptions that people have, is that, oh, just because it's an AI, it doesn't have to, obey the laws of physics, and you don't have to worry about any sort of data pipelines, when in fact, those data pipelines become more important to feed these AI systems. So behind the scenes, what we're doing at Arch is building, as Harini mentioned, that semantic layer that represents your business, where there are defined metrics for business processes that are happening in your organization, and those business processes generate the data that the AI and any human analyst have access to. Feeding into that semantic layer are a set of data pipelines where data is being pulled from databases, SaaS APIs, random files that you might have, sent through a processing pipeline that understands, hey, this is the target that we're trying to hit in terms of understanding metrics, and goes through the whole cleaning and transformation set, and then that is made available to the AI and the conversational interface. So behind the scenes, there's this whole set of pipelines, and depending on your level of involvement, like with us, you'll be able to see those, and you can work collaboratively with the AI on those pipelines, or we take care of all of that for you, and you're just worried and talking with the AI analyst. So there's all that data work, and a lot of it, and Harini has mentioned this before, like a lot of it is kind of grunt work, but it's very important, necessary grunt work. And AI now makes it easy to bring that to scale to a large number of organizations. But really, the critical piece here is that semantic layer that represents and understands your business, your metrics, your KPIs.
Love it. So if I, had someone from some of the tools that we use, say, yeah, there's a lot of what Taylor said that we do. Harini, what do you feel like differentiates you from, I'm a marketer, I use all these tools. In fact, I have a tool that tells me what tool I should be using for that type of question. So what do you feel like for data insights, analytics, differentiates you? And it says like, no, these, general tools do not do what we do here at Zetta.
Yeah, I would say two things. I think first, for example, for marketers, I think we help them very quickly set up with all their attribution. So there's LTV to CAC ratios that they're looking at to understand where the best customers are coming from, so they can optimize those channels. So very quickly, and typically attribution is a project that can take months or years at companies, and we're able to do that just within days. And I think that's one portion, but it doesn't end there. I think the real value prop is with a tool like Zetta, you're able to connect the dots across marketing, sales, product, finance, operations. And when you're able to connect the dots across the entire customer life cycle of acquisition, activation, engagement, retention, revenue, and LTV, that's when data gets powerful. And I think the siloed tools can only take people that far. It remains at that surface level. And the deeper insights in our analytics are what will truly provide the clarity and better decision making to really grow their business.
Love it. Love it. Taylor, maybe we should talk about like a real example of a business that we worked with, with RTI data analysts, and, walk us through maybe a success story with one of your customers and what was the outcome.
Yeah, sure. So we work, one of our larger customers that we talk about is a private equity company who are acquiring different construction and roofing businesses. And so they have a portfolio of close to 20, I think, different portfolio companies. And they have a very small data team. It's a team of 2 people. And when you think about kind of the nature of what PE is doing, they're acquiring these companies, and then they're trying to essentially be the data team for 20 plus companies, which is hard enough with a team of 2 being a data team for one company. And so now you've got 20 organizations worth of data essentially. And so they need a way to scale that. So we've been working with them both on the data engineering side to really make them as efficient as possible, and have on the Arch platform built out kind of a full data platform with them that pulls data from all of these organizations and helps centralize it. And then on top of that is the AI analyst, which is massively accelerating and freeing up their time to do more interesting things and solve more interesting problems with that conversational interface to generate dashboards and answer these questions, again, built on that semantic model. So for them, it's just been, hey, a team of two now has superpowers because they've been working with Arch, both the platform and our team.
Love it. Yeah, talk about that force multiplier you previously mentioned. That's a perfect example. Harini, can you tell us, maybe a success story with some of the, examples that we talked about, and what was the outcome?
Yeah, definitely. I would say for a lot of our customers, Zetta is the only data tool, and where they don't have data tools or data teams or the data infrastructure, and they don't have the expertise to build either. And so Zetta becomes that all-in-one platform for them. So, and one of our customers who's a successful startup, and they've raised over $30 million. And for them, Zetta is their only tool, and they currently use Zetta for their entire group operations, marketing attribution, revenue operations on the sales side, their executives for putting their entire board deck and story together. And in fact, our automated board decks are helping that as well, where automatically there is a all the data and the charts, along with the summary of what happened and why it happened, of all the key metrics. So I think we're really not just providing data to them, but we are making them so much more productive, because companies spend so much time trying to wrangle data together in spreadsheets and trying to put together in PowerPoints. And we're really helping with that. And with this, what we have seen is that compared to traditional methods, this company is able to save over 90% of both cost and time, and which is valuable for startups, because that's the only way they can win, being better and faster and make better decisions quickly. So I think that's critical, especially for smaller companies that are really, really taking on the big guys.
Love it. Good for you. Congratulations on the success. And it sounds like it's true to your task of, being kind of the all-in-one, tool as a data platform for the company. Very cool. Taylor, if you could put back your optimist hat on, the last couple of years have been just probably the most intense in terms of progression of technology and really putting it in the hands of everybody because of generative AI. What would you say, 5 years from now, how do you see generative AI really changing business analytics?
Yeah, this is so hard to predict. And if you'd asked me this in 2018, 2019, I don't know that I would have predicted that we would be where we are today. But the way I think about this is, if you kind of froze the state of technology today and the current level of intelligence of these models and the cost, there are some still very interesting, useful products that could be built on top of the existing models. It's just how we connect them, how we build the systems, what tools we give them access to. But I don't think that these things are going to be stagnant at all. They're going to get smarter, and they're going to get cheaper. And so I think what that does is it opens the door to more opportunity for more businesses to have better access to these tools. And specifically for data, it just means that more organizations can achieve the outcomes of the larger organizations that have these data teams. And that really excites me, is just bringing these better outcomes of data teams to more and more organizations. I don't think I would not generally ever predict, I think, that any sort of data expertise will not be needed. At the end of the day, these are still intelligent systems, but they still need to understand and need the context from humans to really make them be very useful. So I don't know. It's hard for me to predict beyond. I think these things will get cheaper and better, and there's some really interesting products to build there. Just the opportunity for organizations is just going to continue to grow, and so that's the optimist view, I think.
Love it. Harini, this is a good time of the year to do predictions. Any other predictions you think in the next few years you will see in the space?
Yeah, I definitely think AI is going to just continue freeing up teams from all the grunt work to really focus their time on more growth-oriented projects, so they can really focus on the strategic growth initiatives of the company. And I think that is really the key that AI is enabling. Is it's just ensuring that humans are able to focus on the more higher cognitive skill tasks. And that's really part of the human evolution is, as every new technology has only helped eliminate some of the grunt work, and then we get newer and newer and better jobs. So which is where I'm very excited about how AI is going to actually help eliminate the work that people haven't been happy doing, but is going to enable people to do the work that they actually enjoy. And data analytics, I also envision will have different types of jobs, because every technology only creates more jobs, but it changes the nature of the jobs. And I really think data teams will start likely shifting towards one is managing these data AI systems, which is more the semantic layer type of jobs, where it's semantic layer and tuning. And then the second type of jobs is more on the business side of data analytics, helping drive growth for the company using the data. So it's a very growth-oriented function. So I think that's really how I see AI really helping shift the way data analytics is done. But what I'm most excited about is how this is democratizing data analytics for all companies, for the millions of companies that today cannot afford it. Now they can. This will be easily accessible. So it's a more level playing field. It's no longer where only large companies with large data teams with large budgets can have this intelligence. Now everyone can have it, and I think that lower barrier to entry is extremely healthy, and I think it's going to enable more and more entrepreneurship. It's going to enable really more companies to make better decisions and that's the only way to compete with a lot of the large corporations. So I really see only positives out of this. And I second what Taylor said about we'll always need humans to ensure it's all working correctly, to ensure that the right insights are getting used in the appropriate way. And I really think that AI is going to be that productivity tool where all the grunt work's taken away, so you can focus on what you really like to do and help grow the business.
Yeah, one interesting thing there that I think, as I think about this going into the future, data analysts and data professionals generally, one, will just be able to do more on their own, but it actually will start to elevate the importance of the human element. One of the bigger challenges I think in existing organizations, even if you have a data expert that you trust, is maybe the data is telling you something that you don't like. Maybe it's your organization is performing wrong, and so now there's a human saying okay, here's the numbers, here's what is accurate about the business based on these numbers. What are we going to do with it? And the analyst role becomes part of the storyteller, or even part of the bringing these people on the journey to understand why are the numbers like this? What can we do to improve it? Other people are potentially experts in their part of the organization, whether it's marketing or sales. And so how do analysts, how do data professionals become truth tellers in a way that other people can absorb easily? So it almost elevates these softer, more human skills in a way, because the AI is actually so capable, and then we're spending our time working with other people. So some folks may not enjoy that, and they can focus more maybe on just making sure the AI is doing well, and other folks who really do get their energy from talking to people and being part of the storyteller for this analysis. I think that's an underappreciated part, is that actually with AI sometimes the human element will become even more important.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that, Harini? Do you agree with that?
100%, because it's actually pushing humans towards that higher skilled type of work, and which is it's elevating us, and it's gonna, I think, make sure that we're finding more meaning in our work. Right, and I think it's definitely 100%. I think it's going to elevate the human level of human work, but also humans will be more important because we're helping piece it all together. You can think of these as AI agents, but ultimately, to ensure it all works correctly, I think humans are going to be a big portion of it. And And maybe this is, I love that, Taylor, you're an optimist too, but I think so am I, because I really envision a future where um, everyone is an entrepreneur with AI workers, right? And I think that is where we're all harmoniously coexisting and thriving. And I think that's what AI is helping everybody do. And, there's data to back a lot of this up, because there's a record number of new businesses getting started now. And I think that's where I think it's a great thing that we have more AI workers, where it's doing most of the type of work that's humans don't necessarily enjoy to begin with, but it's helping us do the work that we do enjoy, the more of the creative work. So, so I think I'm very bullish on where all of this is headed.
Yeah, I think too, like as data leaders think about their organizations and how to respond to this for their team, I think the optimist view is like you can empower your team to do more with less in terms of resources, but they have access to this intelligence. So it is just that opportunity to stay lean and add value that is 10x what you could do kind of by yourself. So yeah, I'm obviously, like we're both leading companies that are in this AI space, and it's very exciting for a very exciting time.
Love it. You guys can, nothing's better than having two optimists talk about AI. You guys probably can do this all day. So I'll just have one more question to both of you. You talk to prospects all the time. This is all nice and dandy, but what would you say, some advice, that you would give them as they look for tools and to take advantage of all these amazing things you mentioned? Harini, maybe we can start with you.
Yeah, I think what I would tell companies is, especially as a lot of the smaller companies, is that you don't need big data to start your data analytics journey. So I think that's one is, you can get started today, and AI is helping that, where it's accessible today and very affordable. And studies have shown that companies that have data analytics capabilities always outperform that compared to those that don't. But also companies that leverage AI are also outperforming those that don't. So it's both leveraging data analytics as well as AI is going to be critical for any company's growth in the future. So I think it's, but now there is no more barrier to entry. Companies like Arch and Zetta are providing this access to almost instant data analytics, and in a very affordable manner, and really helping democratize it. So all I would say is just try it, and you'll see how you are able to grow your business very quickly.
Love it. Thank you, Harini. Taylor, any last words?
Yeah, I think my general advice with anything AI is to really like think of these things as intelligent systems, and almost in a way you would think about working with a human. I've heard from a lot of folks that I tried this tool and it didn't give me good results, and so then I haven't really touched it. Like any human that you work with, the more you give the AI and the clearer you are, the better they will do. In fact, if you go read the OpenAI guidelines for prompting, like literally all of their advice is really good advice if you're working with people too, in terms of writing clear instructions, breaking things out into different steps, asking for kind of, show your work, do a chain of thought. Like those are actually, that's really good advice for working with people. And so it shows how like the human element of how you communicate and how you talk is an important input into these different models. And so I encourage everyone to try it, work with ChatGPT or Claude, take your CSV data and see how that goes. And then start to imagine like, oh, what if this actually had access to my business information and I could ask it any questions and it was a data expert. And after you've done that, like come talk to myself or Harini. We'd love to talk your ear off about like what you can actually do with these systems.
Amazing. Thanks, Taylor. Always very interesting to talk to you both. Thank you so much for all the insights. And as Taylor mentioned, we'll be happy to chat with you. If you're interested, with Arch, our domain arch.dev, to contact us, sales@arch.dev, and for Zetta, zettadata.ai, and to contact Harini, info@zettadata.ai. Thank you so much. I hope I enjoyed the conversation. I hope both of you did. Thank you so much for the conversation, and hopefully we'll see you next session. Cheers.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was wonderful chatting. Thank you.
Thanks.